Blake Lively's case is unraveling faster than anyone expected, and Justin Baldoni just hit her with the kind of proof that could end her entire narrative. His team promised full transparency, and they're delivering. Every text, every document, every clip uploaded for the public to see, letting people judge for themselves whether this is harassment, a smear campaign, or retaliation. And so far, the receipts show Blake's version doesn't add up. It all started when Justin dropped that disturbing basement clip from the It Ends With Us premiere. Instead of regrouping, Blake doubled down, and the backlash is brutal. Her PR and legal teams aren't saving her, they're making everything worse. Right now, Blake might be the most unlively star in Hollywood. The truth is, this isn't about victimhood anymore. It's about exposure. Justin's strategy has been calculated. Roll out the evidence piece by piece, each drop heavier than the last. First came the leaked audio of him talking about being locked in the basement. Then the photo that confirmed it. Now, full video that completely dismantles her claims. The unedited footage shows casual banter, Justin joking about his beard, Blake laughing about spray tan, even mentioning his wife. Two actors brainstorming, not hostility, not harassment. And here's the kicker. Blake herself included a muted version of this clip in her lawsuit, trying to spin it as something darker. But Justin had the raw file, and now the truth is public. The pattern is undeniable. She claimed Justin barged into her trailer during breastfeeding. Then Justin's team dropped her own text messages inviting him over, literally saying, "I'm breastfeeding. Come over." She claimed a producer showed her porn. Turns out it was a family home birth photo shared in a conversation about parenting. Again, Blake took context and twisted it into something scandalous. And now, after pushing her accusations in the New York Times, she's crying foul and begging for a gag order to silence Justin's side. Think about that. She went public first, then tried to stop him from releasing the receipts that disprove her story. If she was standing in the truth, why run from context? Why fight so hard to keep people from seeing the whole picture? The irony runs even deeper. In one exchange, Blake claims she was offended by Justin's behavior, yet the only quote she can cling to is him saying flatly, "I'm not even attracted to you." That's not harassment. That's a man trying to shut down a false narrative. Every piece of evidence Justin drops cracks Blake's story further, and people are connecting the dots. This isn't just a feud, it's a pattern. Blake plays the victim, flips the script, and leverages her star power to control the narrative. But this time, the receipts are louder than her PR spin. And with every drop, it's becoming clear, her case isn't just weak, it may collapse entirely. Blake Lively's narrative against Justin Baldoni is unraveling faster than even her harshest critics expected. And the more evidence comes out, the weaker her story looks. At first, Blake's lawsuit and public comments painted her as the victim, uncomfortable, harassed, and mistreated by a co-star who was also her director. But when you examine the footage, read the texts, and really look at the situation with clear eyes, the story starts falling apart. And in Hollywood, once a narrative collapses, it doesn't just fade quietly. It detonates. Let's rewind for a second. Blake Lively is not some unknown actress. She's a major star with a long career, household recognition, and the kind of industry clout most actors only dream of. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, while respected in certain circles, is nowhere near her level of fame. This was arguably his biggest project to date, a chance to both direct and star in a high-profile adaptation of It Ends With Us. In Hollywood hierarchy, Blake was the bigger dog, which is why so many people are raising eyebrows at her accusations. Because usually when there's harassment or power abuse on set, it flows from the person in power downward. The big star, the big name, the big leverage, that's where the imbalance sits. And yet, Blake is trying to frame herself as the victim of someone who, by all accounts, had less power than her in the Hollywood machine. People inside the industry who have worked with directors are pointing this out. They're saying, hold on, this doesn't make sense. Directors, especially ones without A-list status, rarely have the leverage to mistreat or bully their talent when that talent is the bigger name. The reality is usually the opposite. When you're the bigger star, you hold the keys. You can get people fired. You can walk off set and shut down production. You can throw your weight around and everyone scrambles. So the idea that Justin, with his lower profile, could harass and intimidate someone like Blake doesn't align with how power dynamics usually work in Hollywood. Now let's look at the actual complaints she made. Blake claimed she felt uncomfortable on set around Justin. Sounds serious on the surface. But when the footage leaked, the uncut, unedited, full context clips, what you see is completely different. You don't see fear. You don't see discomfort. You see two professionals laughing, joking, improvising, and actually vibing off each other's energy to enhance the scene. In fact, there's a clip where Blake herself teases Justin about his nose. "Your nose is so big," she jokes, and they both laugh about it. Does that sound like a woman who feels harassed and unsafe? Or does it sound like two colleagues with enough comfort to crack jokes mid-shoot? The infamous lift scene is another major point Blake raised in her lawsuit. She claimed Justin body-shamed her when he asked about her weight before filming a moment where he had to lift her. But let's put that in context. Justin has had well-documented back issues. He wasn't asking to embarrass her. He wasn't asking to diminish her. He was asking to make sure he didn't injure himself while performing a physically demanding move. That's not harassment, that's safety. In fact, in stunt work and physical acting, weight checks are routine. You need to know the strain your body can handle to avoid accidents. What's being painted as body shaming is, in reality, a conversation about preventing injury on set. And here's where the contradictions start to pile up. If Blake was so deeply uncomfortable, why does the footage consistently show her relaxed, laughing, and even initiating playful banter? Why do the leaked clips show her leaning into Justin's direction, smiling, and improvising freely without hesitation? This isn't just nitpicking, it's crucial. Because body language doesn't lie. If you were being harassed, you wouldn't be giggling about noses or cracking jokes in between takes. You wouldn't be leaning forward playfully, collaborating on script adjustments, and engaging in lighthearted banter. The footage betrays her claims. Take the so-called big basement moment, which Blake's team pushed as one of the central pieces of her discomfort narrative. In the unedited footage, what you actually see is two actors in character, creating the honeymoon phase energy their roles demanded. They're flirty, yes, but for the camera. They're playful, yes, but in the way actors often improvise to build chemistry on screen. You even hear Justin mentioning his wife in the middle of it, which immediately changes the tone from flirty tension to casual joking. It's all there, in plain sight. Two professionals doing their jobs, not the dark scenario Blake tried to paint. Even legal experts reviewing the leaks are siding with Justin. They're saying the interactions fall well within the boundaries of normal actor-director collaboration. They're scripted. They're professional. They're contextual. And most importantly, they don't show harassment. They show collaboration. And let's not forget the hypocrisy here. Blake complained about moments being inappropriate, but those same moments also show her smiling, engaged, and responsive. She complained about the lift scene, but didn't object at the time, because by all accounts, she knew it was about safety. She complained about playful banter, but was just as active in delivering jokes herself. You can't rewrite the reality of what the camera captured. The leaked nose joke clip is especially damning. Blake is smiling, laughing, and riffing on Justin's appearance in a way that's clearly comfortable. She even pushes the joke further, joking about shutting production down and calling insurance because of his big nose. Then she quickly says, "Just kidding." That's the vibe of someone who's comfortable and in control, not someone being victimized. And Justin? He's focused, professional, and immersed in his dual role as actor and director. He calls for breaks. He ends takes when they've gotten enough shots. He shifts the focus back to the scene every time. This isn't the behavior of someone harassing a co-star. It's the behavior of someone managing a set. Even when the banter happens, he redirects to the work once it's clear they've captured the necessary footage. So let's zoom out. What does this all mean? It means Blake's case is built on contradictions. She claims discomfort, but the footage shows ease. She claims harassment, but the evidence shows collaboration. She claims body shaming, but the context reveals safety concerns. And every time new receipts surface, her narrative weakens. The public is noticing too. Fans who initially wanted to support her are now turning skeptical. Comment sections are filling with people saying the footage doesn't match her story. Memes are spreading about the nose joke, with viewers pointing out how lighthearted and mutual it was. And once the court of public opinion shifts against you, it's very hard to recover. This is especially dangerous for Blake, because Hollywood has a long memory when it comes to credibility. If you're caught twisting narratives or weaponizing victimhood, it doesn't just impact this case. It lingers into your reputation. Future directors, producers, and studios will remember. They'll hesitate. They'll ask, if we work with her, could she turn a normal set dynamic into a lawsuit? Could she twist context into something else? That's the risk she's running. Meanwhile, Justin is emerging from this stronger. His decision to drip-feed evidence, each piece heavier than the last, is proving effective. He's not just defending himself. He's dismantling her credibility step by step. From audio to photos to full video, the pattern is clear. Every time she claims something, he produces proof that undercuts it. That's not the playbook of someone guilty. It's the playbook of someone who knows the truth is on their side. And the irony? Blake is now pushing for a gag order to silence Justin. She's claiming he's trying the case in the media. But let's not forget, she went public first. She ran to the New York Times to blast him with half-truths and her side of the story. Now that Justin is clapping back with receipts, she wants the conversation shut down. If she was truly confident in her story, she wouldn't be scrambling to silence him. She'd let the evidence speak. Instead, it's Justin's evidence that's speaking loudest. The deeper you dig, the more her narrative unravels. Even the legal experts are leaning toward him. Even fans are flipping. And even neutral observers are admitting the footage just doesn't support her claims. So where does this leave Blake Lively? In a precarious position, her credibility is hanging by a thread. Her legal team looks sloppy. Her PR team looks clueless. And with every new drop, Justin gains ground while she loses it. Unless something dramatically changes, this case won't just collapse. It'll stain her reputation for years. Blake wanted to paint herself as the victim, but the receipts are painting her as something else entirely. A powerful actress using her clout to flip the narrative, only to get exposed when the raw evidence surfaces. And in Hollywood, once the illusion breaks, it's almost impossible to put it back together. Blake's big moment is falling apart, and the world is watching in real time. The drama surrounding Blake Lively has spiraled into one of Hollywood's most talked about controversies, and every day, new details, old receipts, and resurfaced clips add fuel to the fire. What began as a heated dispute between Blake and Justin Baldoni over on-set behavior has now ballooned into something far larger. A clash of reputations, a storm of public opinion, and a Hollywood scandal that refuses to slow down. And the internet, of course, is dissecting every frame, every word, and every past feud, drawing connections and asking questions that the mainstream press is hesitant to touch. The controversy really took off when Justin Baldoni's name became tied to allegations that, according to Blake, painted a picture of inappropriate improvisations on set. She pointed to moments where Justin leaned in too close, kissed her forehead, brushed his face against her neck, or flicked her lip during a scene, all without prior discussion or the oversight of an intimacy coordinator. Her legal team doubled down, insisting that every one of these moments was damning, that the footage didn't absolve Justin, but rather proved her point. In their words, this was a cut-and-dry case of boundaries being crossed. But the internet wasn't so convinced. Almost immediately, fans began circulating the footage in question, analyzing Blake's own body language and pointing out what they saw as glaring contradictions. If this was such a traumatic violation, why was she laughing in the scene? Why was she touching Justin's neck, swinging around, and clearly improvising herself? To many viewers, it looked like the kind of natural on-set chemistry and improvisation that makes film scenes feel alive. Experts in acting even chimed in, explaining that improvisation is not only common but often encouraged by directors to bring authenticity to a performance. The forehead kiss, the playful energy, even the little unscripted gestures, all of it seemed perfectly in line with the source material. And that's where the backlash began to snowball. The internet's tone quickly shifted from curiosity to mockery. Memes began circulating about Blake's contradictory behavior. She joked about Penn Badgley's nose in the past, yet suddenly framed casual banter as body shaming. People were quick to highlight that she once told co-stars to fix their looks, but was now crying foul when the tables turned. Social media thrives on hypocrisy, and once the crowd smelled inconsistency, they tore into it. Meanwhile, Justin Baldoni's team made it clear they weren't backing down. They strategically released receipts in escalating fashion, first mild screenshots, then photos, and finally, full video clips that painted a very different story from Blake's legal narrative. If the pattern continues, insiders say, the next wave of footage could be even more damning. Not for Justin, but for Blake. Some are predicting that Justin could walk away with a 9-figure settlement while Blake faces professional and personal fallout, including whispers of a looming divorce from Ryan Reynolds. As if that weren't enough, Blake's past has come roaring back to haunt her. Old footage resurfaced of her throwing shade at Anna Kendrick, reigniting rumors of a long-standing feud between the two actresses. Fans recalled the awkward press tours for a simple favor, where the tension between Blake and Anna was so palpable it practically radiated off the screen. What was supposed to be a glamorous pairing of two talented stars quickly turned into a case study in passive-aggressive interviews, awkward red carpet moments, and behind-the-scenes reports of friction. According to industry whispers, the bad blood between Blake and Anna can be traced back to Anna's comments about Blake's close friend Taylor Swift. Back in 2016, Anna made what seemed like a harmless joke in an interview, calling Taylor the perfect Miss America type, while contrasting herself as someone more cynical and sarcastic. On the surface, it was lighthearted, but insiders say Blake took it personally, seeing it as shade directed at her best friend. From that point forward, the relationship between the two actresses was strained, and when they ended up cast together, the results were toxic. Fast forward to A Simple Favor 2. Despite Anna's hesitations, studio executives and director Paul Feig pushed hard to reunite both actresses, hoping lightning would strike twice at the box office. Instead, old tensions immediately resurfaced. According to crew reports, the set became so hostile that Blake and Anna had to be kept apart to prevent blow-ups. Imagine trying to film a sequel where the two leads can barely stand to be in the same room together. The stress was palpable, and Amazon, which had spent big money acquiring the film, is now reportedly so frustrated that they may shelve the project indefinitely. Early test screenings may have been promising, but when the stars themselves are at odds, even the best footage risks being tainted by the off-screen drama. And Anna Kendrick isn't the only name tied to Blake's growing list of strained relationships. Rumors are swirling about tension with director Leon Mayer, with whispers of difficult on-set behavior and clashes over creative direction. Allegations of mistreatment toward interns and colleagues have also surfaced, painting a picture of someone whose Hollywood charm may mask a more complicated reputation behind the scenes. To make matters worse, Blake's legal issues with Justin Baldoni are not happening in isolation. They're colliding with these resurfaced feuds, the perception of arrogance, and the growing sentiment online that Blake is losing touch with both the industry and the public. The Golden Globe snub earlier this year only added to the narrative. Blake's influence in Hollywood might not be as untouchable as it once seemed. The stakes couldn't be higher. Justin Baldoni is reportedly asking for $400 million in damages, a staggering sum that underscores just how serious this legal battle has become. If even a portion of his claims stick, it could be catastrophic for Blake financially and professionally. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds is caught in the middle, balancing his own Marvel controversies and career moves while trying to protect his family from the fallout. Fans are openly speculating about strain in their marriage, and though neither has commented publicly, the silence speaks volumes in a gossip-driven culture. What makes this scandal particularly explosive is how it touches so many pressure points at once: gender politics, Hollywood power dynamics, authenticity versus performance, and the role of social media in shaping reputations. Blake's legal team may believe the footage supports her case, but public opinion tells a different story. In the court of online discourse, perception often matters more than facts, and right now perception is skewing against her. The internet, as always, remains undefeated. Every move Blake makes, every statement she issues is scrutinized, memed, and reframed through a lens of skepticism. Each new video released by Justin's team is treated like a plot twist in an unfolding series, keeping the audience hooked and fueling the cycle of outrage. It's no longer just about what happened on set. It's about a history of behavior, feuds, and contradictions that paint a larger picture. So where does Blake go from here? Can she stage a comeback, rebuild her reputation, and reclaim her influence in Hollywood? Or is this the beginning of a slow but irreversible downfall, where each new revelation chips away at her carefully crafted image? With lawsuits piling up, projects on hold, and fans divided, the next few months will be pivotal. One thing is certain, the story isn't slowing down. If anything, the drama is escalating, and the world is watching. What started as a red carpet meltdown has snowballed into a full-blown battle for truth, power, and image. It's a Hollywood circus playing out in real time, with millions of spectators following every twist and turn. And in this game of receipts, narratives, and reputations, one thing remains clear. When the internet turns against you, no amount of PR spin can put the genie back in the bottle.